Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of my travel diary series. Now if you've been following along, you'll know that this week's episode starts from the same day that the previous episode actually left off, where we spent an amazing night at the Exiv Hotel in Toba. So after we checked out of the Exiv, we decided to head down to a place called Ise, where we planned to spend the day visiting a shrine there as well as doing some shopping. So when we started the day, I wasn't actually sure where we were going, so I really didn't know what to expect from today. So the place in Ise where we would be spending the day was at a place called Okage Yokocho. So Okage Yokocho is a small town built around the torii gate to Ise-Jingu Shrine. This town had the atmosphere of a really old Japanese town, and it was just incredible. When we arrived at Okage Yokocho, we decided to head straight to the main torii gate that led into Ise-Jingu Shrine, because we decided to make visiting the shrine the first stop of the day. So the torii gate that led to Ise-Jingu Shrine was actually quite large, and somewhat awkwardly when we first went there I didn't actually know that you were meant to bow before heading through the torii gate, so that was something that I definitely learned on this day. Now the bridge leading to Ise-Jingu Shrine was actually quite large as well, and it felt really nice walking along this bridge. Even though there was so many people here, it really did have a very lively atmosphere, as well as also feeling quite relaxed at the same time. There was also another large torii gate on the other side of this bridge as well. And there was just so much greenery as well. It was really, really nice. Now before the next main torii gate, there was an area where you could go and wash your hands, which was a very common practice at a lot of Japanese shrines. And just past that torii gate, there was this opening off to the right, and from here you could see up close that river that ran under the bridge from earlier. And here you could also see that the leaves were just starting to turn as it slowly changes into autumn. I would absolutely love to come back here during autumn because I would imagine that all of these trees would look absolutely amazing. And this area itself was just really peaceful. As we headed a little bit further in, we saw all these people gathered around these buildings here. I'm not too sure exactly what these were because we basically just headed straight past to go to the main shrine. So Ise-Jingu is actually a shrine complex where there's actually many Shinto shrines in the area. Now the shrine that we were actually here to pay a visit to today was called Jingu. So Jingu is actually dedicated to the worship of Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun. And it's said that Amaterasu actually dwells in Ise-Jingu. Now, Jingu is a private shrine, so filming is actually prohibited, so I wasn't able to film the actual shrine itself. And in fact, you can only actually see the shrine from the outside, you're not actually allowed in. The surrounding area of Jingu was still really nice, and there was actually this area where we got to see some koi swimming in this small pond. some of them, like this one here, were just so shiny and golden. So after visiting Kotai Jingu, we headed back to Okage Yokocho. Even now, editing these videos, looking back, I can't get over just how amazing this place looks. And also, while we were here, I saw what was probably the nicest Starbucks that I'd ever actually seen before. So I actually took quite a few photos here as well because it just looked so cool for a Starbucks. They did a really good job making it fit in here. And on the roof, they actually had like those roof tile statues of the Starbucks mermaid. It really was so well designed and it fit in very well. Now, we didn't actually stop at the Starbucks to have anything because we already had plans on where we would be going today. But I would definitely love to come back here. I do really wish that I filmed a lot more of the stores that are here in Okage Yokocho just because they did have a lot of really nice stuff. Now, the prices were quite high, but in saying that, they were also handmade and you could tell that they were really good quality. So the place that we decided to go today to have a quick lunch was called Akafuku Mochi. So this place is really popular and it's actually famous for mochi, which is like a Japanese dessert treat snack thing. I'm sure you've probably had mochi before, you don't really need me to explain what it is, but yeah, they make very, very good mochi here. The line here was quite long, but it didn't bother me waiting in the street at all because the area was just so nice. And once we got inside, you could actually see them hand making the mochi. The Akafuku Mochi looked almost as good as it tasted. I've got to say this was probably the best mochi I've ever had, hands down. And the place itself was also really nice. It was really nice just sitting here on these tatami mats, having a nice tea and eating mochi. It was really relaxing and it was really good, especially with the sound of rain trickling from behind us. So just out the back of Akafuku Mochi, there was also this small hidden garden. Really like finding these little hidden gardens around Japan. They just look so nice and peaceful. By the time that we left Akafuku Mochi, it had started to rain just a little bit more, which made the street look even nicer. Because it was starting to rain, there was definitely a much thinner crowd now, and the streets just looked incredible. And we were lucky enough to walk past this area right as this Taiko Drum Show started. So I'm going to let this play out because I absolutely love taiko drums and I really want to show this off. Although I gotta say, watching this back, it's kind of a completely different experience than actually being there in person. So yeah, I felt really lucky that we walked past when we did, and I'm just going to let this Taiko Drum Show play out for you all to watch and enjoy. So they did start playing another song after this one, which I also filmed, but before we get into that, I just wanted to quickly mention being here in person was a completely different experience than watching these back now. I mean, it's still really cool to watch, but being there in person up this close, these drums were just so intense. You could feel each hit vibrate through your entire body. It was really incredible. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to quickly mention that, but I hope that you enjoy the next song as well. So after the Taiko Drum Show, we did continue to walk around Okage Yokocho. Although the rain did start to get quite a bit heavier, so we decided to call it a day and head back to the car. So for this leg of the trip, we would actually be spending the night at a hotel chain called Super Hotel. And the one that we stayed at on this particular night was in a place called Yokkaichi, which was about a 2.5 hour drive from Ise. So we did stop off on the way to the hotel to get some yakiniku for dinner. So the place that we stopped off at was called Issho-bin Yakiniku. So like a lot of the amazing food that I've had on this trip so far, I did also forget to film the yakiniku as well. So unfortunately there's no clips of that, but the food was absolutely incredible. The meat just melted in your mouth. It was so good. So after dinner we continued on to the Super Hotel in Yokkaichi. So this was just a small cheap hotel for the night, although there was a bathhouse there which was really nice and also free alcohol, but it was just like 1 drink per person. And this also brings us to the end of this week's episode of my travel diary series. I really do hope that you enjoyed this particular video. It was a really good day. I absolutely loved every minute being at Okage Yokocho. It was a really amazing town and I highly recommend visiting. I personally really love old Japanese design, so being there was absolutely incredible for me. And it was pretty good because I didn't really know what to expect, so when we got there I was just absolutely amazed. I really do hope I get the chance to go back there sometime soon because I would actually really enjoy to explore more of the stores and as well as the food there. All the food and everything just looked absolutely amazing, so I'd really like to get the chance to try some more of it. So in the next week's episode of my Japan Travel Diary series, we'll actually be spending the day at this really amazing theme park, which this particular theme park was actually visible in my last video from the drive from Yokohama to Toba. I really do hope that you all enjoyed this week's episode of my Travel Diary series, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye for now.